When women dare to fully be themselves, to rise up as the divine beings they are, to operate in their magic, their sexuality, their power, they are always labeled one thing: wicked.
Wicked is a podcast for women who dare to walk in their true identity, power, and magic, who go against societal culture of being seen and not heard, who are the black sheep and powerhouses the structure tries to defeat. And here is your shepherd leading you astray, Mystic.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's been a couple weeks. I've been really busy. I'm really excited to get back to it. I do have a couple announcements, so let's get through those real quick. I'm releasing a new course on the new moon, which I'm really excited about. If you're listening to this at the time of release, it's going to be on the Leo new moon. If it's after that, obviously it's already released, and the link is in the show notes. It's called Alchemy of Enlightenment, Secrets of the Stone. And it's a 22-week, so 22 module in-depth course. And it's basically all of my occult knowledge that I have been studying for the past decade, secrets that you'll find hidden in the Bible and all kinds of different ancient holy texts. There's shadow work. I talk about the sacred secretion. I talk about the tarot. It's actually based off the 22 cards of the major arcana, but I do go through the pips and everything and how it's all related. I talk about inner alchemy, the chakras, meditation, all kinds of stuff, like everything. Every week there's one main lesson and then 2 to 3 activations off of that. So it's a couple hours each week of work, of video lectures. And there's no way in hell you're not going to be transformed by the end of this. Like, this is so in-depth. There's 2 different ways to buy it. So once it's released, you can just buy it straight up through my Stan store and boom, it's done. I'll have it on my website, everything. If you want to be part of the Wise Woman Network, my online coven, you're going to get it at 90% off. And so it's like a one-time little fee to add on to your... So once you purchase that, you'll have access to it inside the coven. So that means there's going to be discussion groups and feeds and like news feeds and all kinds of stuff, so that we're doing this as a group together. So if you want to join and actually go through this, it would definitely be worth it to join the coven and do it that way, just because, transformation is hard. And doing an inner journey like the one that I am doing, which helps you to create your own matrix. Everybody talks about exiting the matrix, but where the fuck you going? Where are you going to go? The matrix you're in right now is the one that's there by default, and you live in it. If you want to exit it, you have to create your own, and you can't create your own without going on the inside first. And inner alchemy, spiritual alchemy, is hardcore. And when things start shifting in your life, it gets really uncomfortable, and humans hate being uncomfortable. And when you are with a group of people actually going through that work, it's just a lot better, because we encourage each other and help each other to push through. If you decide to enroll in this course, I'm giving you the warning now. The quote unquote unplugging from the matrix is not easy. And things will end up happening in your life because you're taking this course, because you can't just learn about this kind of stuff. When you actually decide to go all in, things start changing in your life because the veil over your eyes is being removed. And as that begins to happen, there's definitely some shifting that takes place. So you got to be ready for that. And that's why I've included exercises in with the teaching, so that you'll know what to do when things start shifting in your reality. But this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be intense. And I guarantee you, at the end of the almost 6 months, You will be a very changed person and your life is going to look very different, but it will definitely be worth it. Let's see, any other announcements? I'm now offering my vulture medicine readings long distance. I have had great success the last month doing them long distance. I was very actually surprised by that, but I'm having just as much success as I do in person. So I'm now offering those long distance for those of you that have reached out and are interested. And I am opening up spaces for spiritual mentorship, like one-on-one, for those of you that want the one-on-one guidance for this portion of your spiritual path and journey. So this is going to be mostly centered around developing your intuition, learning how to do basic magic practices, learning how to work with herbs, learning how to set up altars, everything about the spirit realm. It's a one-on-one type of mentorship. I am not right now accepting any more people on the shadow work mentorship program. That one is really intensive. It takes up a lot of time with each of the people that are signed up, but I'm hoping by next month I will be able to open up another slot, okay? Because the program is 3 months, but if people renew, then I'm not gonna bring anybody else in. So I guess that's it. Oh, I started reading on YouTube again for those of you that are interested. So all this will be in the show notes. I am going to be reading and teaching on there. I'm hoping to do 1 to 2 videos per week. So I'm also excited about that. And again, mostly you'll find me inside the coven posting all kinds of stuff in there and teaching, and I'm in there 2 to 3 times a week teaching live as well. We're also adding workshops to the coven so that twice a month we're going to do one that's a live Q&A where you guys can bring me all your questions and I will answer them all the best to my ability. If I don't have the answer, I will certainly find it for you. And also we are going to have practice workshops where if you're trying to develop your skill on reading tarot cards or oracle cards or whatever divination system you're using, and also mediumship, we do have a few girls that are mediums in there. It's just like going to be a practice circle, and I won't be participating too much. I'm just going to be there assisting and watching, opening and closing the circle to make sure we're all safe, and it'll be a really great time. So yeah, that's the best place to learn, no matter all the courses. I do have my courses also available to the public now for those of you that can't join the coven, especially if you listen to this and you're a man. I do have my basic fundamentals of magic and my money making boot camp, available for purchase as well. However, all of that's included inside the coven for us women. And, it's freaking awesome over there. It's slowly growing, and it's just nice seeing women support each other and learning together, and starting their own businesses and talking about it. And I just love seeing the transformation, even this past year, of so many of the women that are applying everything they're learning, and it's just incredible. So hopefully if you're listening to this, I will be able to actually meet you over there in the coven. And all this information, again, is in the show notes. All right, so now let's move on, that I have spent about 5 or 6 minutes with announcements. So I wanted to talk today about something that's really, really important for especially women and is lacking so much in our society. And that is the village. It is the number one complaint that I hear from women, is that we don't have a village anymore. And, it's really sad. And our society here in the West really, really promotes this idea of women needing to be like these independent beings, and we need to do everything on our own. And women today are exhausted. And, I see so much on social media, and it breaks my heart about women talking about how tired they are in motherhood and how they really just, they're posting their complaints. I'll say it that way. They're posting their exhaustion. They're posting their just absolute dread of what they're going through in motherhood. There's women crying online, holding their babies, asking if certain things are normal. There's women that have, a couple kids and they may be toddlers or like 4 or 5 years old, and they're just so overwhelmed and they're dealing with, rage and stuff. Like they're screaming at their kids. They don't want to be screaming at their kids. There's just this overall feeling of overwhelm. And then you have like mothers feeling guilty for using daycares and what they're feeding their kids right now. And there's just so much pressure and burden on the mother. And it breaks my heart when I see all these kinds of videos. And I'm even included in that. It's not, I don't share it on social media, but the absolute burnout is real. And it doesn't matter if you're a single mom or you're married. It doesn't matter. If you don't have a village helping you, you are exhausted. This thing we have set up in the West where it's like each individual family is their own. Like you're your own separate unit, and it's just you, your partner, and your child or children, and that's it. And you guys are supposed to be able to do it all on your own. That is like awful. And it was never meant to be this way. Humans actually cannot exist that way. And it's why everybody in the West is so sick. It's why everybody has physical illness, because the root of all physical illness is emotional problems. And all of our emotional problems stem from the fact that we are absent of a village. If you want to travel back in time, we lived in villages and the community was viewed at as a whole. And the worst thing that could possibly happen to you is to be ostracized from your community, because that meant you wouldn't survive. Like being together in group meant survival. But because of like industrialization and the way that we live now, it's like all this burden is just put on 1 or 2 people on their own. Like you have to, make a certain amount of money, and then you go to the grocery store to purchase your groceries. It's not like the farmer down the street. You need to be the one doing all of the child's activities. Like women it's crazy, like the climate, because it's like women are expected to do everything for their children, like give up their world, their life for their kids or something, but then also have a career and bring in money and do all that stuff. And where this leaves the woman is 100% depleted, because you're actually like, as a woman, you're actually like not supposed to do that. And I know this may seem a little bit like counter to both cultures that are going on right now. Being a stay-at-home mom and choosing to raise your kids doesn't mean that your whole life has to revolve around your kids and that you're 100% invested in them. And then being a career mom doesn't mean you're 100% invested into your career and you just are like, yeah, whatever, the children do whatever. Like neither of those things are appropriate. Because in both of those scenarios, what is the woman doing for herself? It's not healthy to just everything is centered around your children, and it's just as bad to have everything centered around your career. And we get stuck in this. Like, where are the hobbies? Where is the free time? Because the time that you have free, you're in the kitchen cooking, or you're doing laundry, or you're running Jenny to soccer, or you're whatever it is you're doing. There's zero time for the woman to do something for herself. Like booking yourself a massage once a month is not it. And like that's not a hobby. That's not doing something you enjoy for you. Going to the grocery store alone is not you doing something for you. And then, there's mom guilt even surrounding doing things for your own self. And that mom guilt comes from the consciousness of what's in our Western culture, that women always need to be doing for the family and need to be these martyrs and completely selfless and do nothing for themselves. And that's something that I even struggle with when it's like, it's, especially being a single mom, it's like any free moment I have, like that I was catching myself sitting down, I was like, am I forgetting to fucking do something right now? Because there's no way I have done everything to completion between the kids and myself. And it took a lot of work. Thank God I have an amazing mentor that helps me through things. But I've just now finally have like gotten myself to break out of that habit. And having a village is really the antidote to this one problem. And there's several that I'm going to bring up over the course of the next, 30, 40 minutes. But this burnout, it can be avoided when there literally is a village. Like, I was just talking with one of the amazing women over on in the Coven, and she's starting up her own business, and I'm so proud of her. She's been in my mentorship program for a few years, and like watching the transformation in her is just incredible. And she's trying to figure out like how am I going to put, so she has a regular job Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend, she's trying to run her own business, and she just rented a space, and it's amazing for her. She does lashes. And she's like, I'm nervous because like my two kids, like, what am I going to do? I want to see, like, she wants to spend time with them, but she like doesn't know what to do if she gets really booked up, but she needs the money in order to provide for her children. And it's like, I feel the struggle, right? And I wish so much we lived closer, because I'd be like, okay, this weekend, bring your kids to my house. We're going to have a great time. We're going to go swimming. Like, I'll take care of the kids this weekend, and the next weekend you got my kids, and like being able to do that. Or in the middle of the week, if it's like, okay, I'm going to die if I don't take a fucking nap, being able to have like another friend or a mom or whatever that understands that and is like, oh, bring the kids over, and then we swap out. The next day you take a nap. The kids can come to my house. And there used to be village like that. And even families used to live generationally. And now, like in the West, it's like, oh, your kid turns 18, you're supposed to like give him an eviction notice and kick him out. What? My goal is to have a fucking property one day so that my kids can live on my property. Why do I want them to go somewhere? What? Like, why would I want that? I want to be close with my children. And there's this like weird coldness that like runs through some families. And unfortunately, it's a lot of families in the West where it's like once your child hits a certain age, it's like, that's it. Like, you're out on your own. You're in the cold. You need to go get your own house, your own car, your own everything. But who does that benefit? Like, who does that benefit? That's just not for me, man. Like, that's just awful. That just benefits corporate America, and it's strategically set up this way, and everybody's burnt out and sick of it. There was this really awesome thing I saw on TikTok, and this girl randomly popped up in my feed. She had just started a TikTok account. Like, I think she was 3 days in when I saw her. And it was this young mother. She was in her early 20s, and she had, I believe she said she had 3 kids. She doesn't put her kids on there, I don't think. But she said she had 3 kids, and she's putting herself through nursing school. And her partner works during the day, and she just kind of shows herself making meals really cheaply, because like when they really run out, like they were like at the end of towards the end of the week before payday, and they barely had like any food. And actually, I should probably pull up her name so you guys can support her. How would I even find her? Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to find her. But I was trying to look on my phone. I can't multitask like this. But she was just kind of like posting up, like, this is all I have in the house. This is kind of like how I'm putting it together. And, it was just, oh my God, it's like things I remember eating when I was little, like fruit in a can and stuff like that. And I forget what it's called. But anyway, it was so cool seeing the women in the comments supporting her, like, you're doing a great job. Like, there was people asking for her Venmo to like send her money to help her get groceries. And she was like, please just follow me, because if I can get to 10,000 followers, I can get in the creator rewards program. And when I post videos, it can help my family to make money. So of course I followed her. And then, you know, everybody was following her and sharing her videos and stuff to like help to support her. And like, I thought it was so cool seeing online community respond like that. Within a couple days after me seeing that video, she was well over 10,000 followers. So she got to be in the creator reward program. And one of the videos that I opened up to, I think a few days after that, people, because she had like an Amazon wish list, and people had sent her gifts from there. And she did a video of her opening the gifts, and like, I felt such immense joy watching her open up these boxes, like clothes for her kids, like a big bag of rice, like all of this different stuff. I'm like, look at what it's like when community is together. Like, this is what a village is. Like, we may not right now have it's set up in the US where we have like extended family or like physical village, but the online community, especially TikTok, like I don't see that on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know about there, but it seems like on TikTok, people are more community minded, and everybody kind of supports each other on there. And I just think that that's incredible. And watching this girl, and since I follow her, of course, she still like pops up in my feed and stuff when I go on there, and she's going on lives, and it's cool when she like posts things. People are like, oh, like, what's the recipe for this? Like, I want to try this. And it's just awesome because everybody's like connecting through her. And then we all saw her be supported, or did support her in her journey to help provide for her family. And I just think that that's amazing. And you can't do that on your own. So like, if TikTok wasn't there, what would she be doing? And people can hate on TikTok all they want, but the amount of mothers that are being saved right now because of the village on TikTok, and because of them being able to make extra income in order to feed their families, is like saving it right now. Like, seriously, it's saving it. And I mean, there was a couple women that I reached out to on there because they were just on there, you know, a couple months postpartum, talking about like, is it normal to be this depressed? I feel so alone and overwhelmed. My husband's gone all day and I'm here alone with the baby. Nothing breaks my heart more than that. Postpartum depression is probably only like 5% hormonal, to be honest. Like, I get the hormones. I mean, I remember just looking at Zion and crying because I thought he was so beautiful, and like this was my baby. And I would one time I thought that this one time I thought that it was in my first like 40 days that I didn't like want to leave the house, and you know, I did my 40 days resting, and I thought I had heard Joe say that he was going to take Zai to the store, which he didn't say that, but I thought he said he was going to take Zai to the store or whatever, and I cried. I was like, well, he can't leave he can't be without me. He can't leave the house. Like, I cried. That's hormonal. But the majority of it is the aloneness. You just gave birth. You have this beautiful human being that your body created. The organs, the skin, the hair, the nails, everything, the breath that he is taking or she is taking is because of your body. It is a miracle. And society wants you to completely forget that you did that. And there's nobody there to celebrate it with you. You're alone. And in the beginning, you may have visitors. Usually right in the beginning, it's like, you know, visitors you don't want, or things are really overwhelming and people want to take your baby from you, and that's the last thing that you want, which people are getting better at that. I've been noticing because of social media. Like, oh yeah, it's okay to tell your in-laws not to come over, or to just do the dishes and not wear perfume, and you know, bring you and don't come over if you're not bringing food. But most women, it's like they have a baby and go home, and then they're expected to keep cleaning and keep cooking and taking care of the other kids and act like they didn't just do something major. And that's depressing. Nobody's there celebrating with you. And then when you're really tired and, you know, your other kids are looking at you for food and the laundry is piling up and all this is going on, even if you have a very active husband and he has taken time off work to like help with all of these things, like it's too much for even two people. And if you don't think that, like, you're fooling yourself. There's no accomplishment in being hyper independent. And that's something that our society really promotes. This like hyper independence of you got to do it on your own. You got to accomplish it on your own. Why? What, do you get an award for that? Like, you need friends. You need family, even if it's not blood family. Like, I may not have blood family very active in my life at this time period, but you're damn right I have friends that are closer than blood to me and that are there for me and that relieve me when I need to and like need to be alone or need to have some time to decompress or, you know, that are supporting me in all kinds of ways. And like, you can't just be in isolation, even if it's you and your partner, and expect to be healthy. It's just, we as humans are not set up to be that way. And it actually can be dangerous. It can be dangerous not having a village. And what this hyper independence has brought us to, especially for women, because we have this woman wound or the witch wound, whatever you want to call it, where there's been this program that has been installed into our matrix through toxic patriarchy, not healthy patriarchy. There is a difference. Through toxic patriarchy of like the mean girl narrative. And unfortunately, yeah, it's still very alive and well, but I do see it becoming disassembled, which is great. But when women are together, not only are we caring for each other in you know, during pregnancies, during postpartum, during life transitions, when you first get your period, when you first are starting menopause, you know, maiden, mother, crone, that is the makeup. And being able to gain that wisdom at all levels is fucking amazing. Like, imagine being a maiden and right within your circle, you have a mother that you can look up to ask questions. And then imagine being the mother where you have the crone that you can go to and ask questions. Like, that's needed. That is needed. You have to take advice from other people. Like, Google's not the answer. It's so important to talk to other people. It's so important to talk to other women. And to be able to get the perception of somebody else outside of you on how they live their life and take in what information is needed is such a sacred thing that is missing in our society and in our culture. I love stories. I love people. I love listening to people's stories of their life and things that they have gone through. I don't care if they're younger than me. I don't care if they're older than me. I don't care if they're my same age. I love it all equally. And, you know, it like blows my mind that there's billions of people on this earth. That means there's billions of different ways to live life on this earth. And my beliefs are constantly shifting, and the way I live shifts. And it's because I talk to a lot of people and I get different perceptions of things. And when I'm looking at these different perceptions, it's like, I wonder what it would be like to live that way. Like, is it good for me? Is it bad for me? And I think it's so important to constantly be in this state of metamorphosis with this. And it's what makes us well-rounded. But this like isolation thing that happens where it's like, nope, it's just me and the kids, or it's just me and my family. And then we, you know, even in social media, you're allowed to like block everybody that you don't like. And you just get this one narrative, right? Like, how unfulfilling. Like, how do you live like that where there's only one way? like, you might as well join a cult. Like, oh, this is the way, you know? And it's just an ick. And I think that that part of our society that is now like this has become very toxic, and it's why people can't have conversations and enjoy each other's company anymore. I don't know. I remember being little and like when the whole family would get together over snacks and, you know, and like the adults would all be talking at the table, drinking wine and eating olives, and it was like the best. It was the fucking best. And I remember being little and watching that, and I loved it. And I don't know. It's missing today. And my whole thing when I started the Wise Woman Network was because I heard another wise woman say, you have to, what was the exact quote? It was something along the lines of like, just become the village that you want. And so I did that. I set out on a journey to do that because I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't find my tribe. Well, what are you looking for? Someone who's exactly like you? Like I wasn't. And I never said like, oh, I've never found my tribe. Like, what tribe? Like, I don't need somebody to fit in with me. I just want everybody who's like somewhat on the same wavelength as me when it comes to like morals and most likely spiritual path. So I created this online space to hopefully, you know, attract the women that are like-minded in that area. But each individual woman that enters that space, I honor them as sacred for who they are. Like, their own path is like basically their own we also use the word religion like because even if you're part of the same religion, because you have a different lens and you're a different person, you're going to view it differently. And that's amazing about humans. That's exciting about humans. That's why, like, on the questionnaire, I put on there specifically, we don't do converting here. There's no such thing as conversion. So, like, if you have certain opinions about anything, it can be spirituality, it could be, I have a health circle in there, whatever. You can agree, you can disagree, you are free to be you. But we don't try to make somebody else believe like we do. Because we're supposed to honor each other for where we're at and the sacredness. And I kind of went off topic there, but that all made sense. What I was saying before was how the importance of women gathering together. So not only are we like learning from each other and listening to the wisdom of the experiences that we've been through, there's also this safety in that. You know, if you have a village of women around you and you guys are seeing each other almost every day and your kids are playing and you're meeting up and you're cooking together, it's easy to notice if one of your girlfriends isn't looking too good. If suddenly she's not eating a lot when you guys get together and are cooking dinner for all of the kids because we're eating in community, right? All of a sudden she's not eating a lot and you start noticing she's looking a little too thin. A conversation can be had. Are you going through body image problems right now? Are you sick? What's going on? And there's a sense of safety there. Someone's looking out for you, and then there's safety in being able to open up and talk about it. And I guarantee you there'll be a woman who's experienced that before that can help to give you advice on that. And let's not forget that when the women gather and the women talk, it's a lot harder for men to get away with shit. Because when we see how your husband's behaving and when we get a little energy read on him and, you know, women talk. And if we see you're in an abusive relationship or things aren't right, we can point that out to you. Because abuse doesn't just happen like, you know, you get in a relationship the next day the guy punches you in the face. That's not how it works. There's a whole phase of months of love bombing that usually happens. And there's actually been in the last few months like 3 different women that I was talking to, and I could see it on the outside. I'm like, you need to be careful. Don't start, if he's calling you the love of his life and you've only like met for a month, like, you know, give it time to cool off. But there's like certain things that I was able to see, and I was just like, this is seeming like a love bomb. So just be careful with it and see what happens. And then I would pick up on like, oh, he said to do this and this, and he likes this. Well, okay. I'm spotting the red flags, you know? And I would want someone to do that to me and do that for me. But when women aren't talking because there's this like mean girl narrative, or there's like fears around stuff like that, they withdraw from the group. And it's very easy for women to be convinced and coerced into doing things. I mean, that's what a lot of people are talking about right now, especially with this ballerina farm thing going on, right? I don't even know if I should get into that right now, but holy shit, that behavior. I mean, you know, someone had sent me, actually a couple people had sent me her videos like a couple years ago. And I never followed her because I don't know. The energy didn't feel right to me or something. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was. So I never followed her. But I read through that article that was just posted about her, and holy shit, man. That man stalked her. And like, was that supposed to sound romantic? That he like looked her up and like stalked her for months until she would say yes? I don't know. I think Disney did us a huge disservice as women. But that's stalker behavior. And like, for people to say like, oh, he's a catch. What? People were telling her that the stalker is the catch? And then her dream was to be a ballerina in the city. And like, he put her on a 200-acre farm alone and in isolation. And I think what got me the most was the fact that he's an heir to JetBlue, and for her birthday she wanted plane tickets to Greece, and he got her an egg apron. I mean, that shit was just like in the box. It came in the mail. There was no effort put into it. And I watched the video, and the fact, I could feel it in the video, the fact that he was recording her. He was taking, this man's a full-blown narcissist. He was taking, like, they're energy vampires, and he was taking that energy in of the disappointment that she probably felt. A fucking egg apron. She birthed how many kids for that man and runs his farm, and that's what he got her. Something else to do more work around the house. That poor woman. But where is her village? She's in isolation. And the fact that she gets so exhausted, she just can't get out of bed for a week at a time. You know, there's a lot going on social media about it, and people are saying, oh, people are just trying to demonize the traditional wife and all that. That's not traditional. Do you guys understand that trad wife, that's not traditional? Being isolated in a house. I mean, 1950s traditional maybe. If you want to go true traditional, there's a village. There'd be other women around her. There would be, you know, they wouldn't be in isolation off, and he would be abusing her in silence. And maybe he ain't physically abusing her, but that's emotional and mental abuse. What do they call that? Like coercive control. She gave up everything. And then the one thing, she was supposed to have like a dance studio on the farm, and it turned into the kids' schoolroom. And she's just like constantly pregnant and just cooking now. And I don't know. That whole article really just made me sick to my stomach. And that's why like this whole debate about like trad wife or like raising kids traditionally or whatever, y'all don't even know what the fuck tradition is. What the fuck are you guys, like, what the fuck are people thinking tradition is? That you like sit at home in an apron and like vacuum all fucking day and take care of kids and dedicate your whole life to your children, and you do nothing outside of that, and then the man goes to work all day? That ain't fucking traditional. That's industrialization. You understand? Do you know what traditional is? Living in a fucking village. Living with extended family. That's actually traditional. Having your mother and grandmother come over and other people's extended family that you live near. And you guys are constantly trading things, and you guys actually have something that you do all day. Do you think it's traditional for a man to go fucking work 9 to 5 and come home and sit on the toilet for a fucking hour and then go golfing? What is traditional to you guys? Like, so this, when these arguments come up, I just think that all of y'all are fucking stupid. Not you listeners, but like all the people on like TikTok and all these fucking red pill podcasts, like what is traditional? You don't even know. Like, you're not going that far. You're saying, oh, what came to be during industrialization when corporations were taking over everything. You want trad? You want trad lifestyle? Okay, quit your fucking 9 to 5, sir. And then you go and farm and do all that shit, and then go down to the market and fucking trade your cattle for someone else's pigs. Like, I don't know, pull your kids out of fucking school. Like, I don't get it. Move somewhere where there's a village, where there's a ton of people living on some acreage, where you guys are all helping and supporting each other, and women, their whole life don't evolve around their children. That's also like a newer thing, right? Like, that's not... You know what I love? I have a lot of women who are friends of mine who are not from this country. And I love listening to how they lived in that country and in the countries that they're from, because it ain't nothing like this. So I don't know. So I guess trad life, trad wife is like American 1930s to 50, 1930s to 1950, 1920s to like 1950. Like, that's the era you want to be stuck in? When women were swallowing pinworms to be a certain size? I mean, they basically do that today. You guys just go on, like people just go under the knife now, and they get all kinds of shit injected into their bodies and told that they're we're still ugly. It's like, women are so targeted. Like, you have to give up your whole life for your children. You have to be a certain size. Your body's like never gonna be perfect. So you gotta like do all this shit. You gotta starve yourself. You gotta swallow tapeworms. Be on certain diets, make sure you're like cooking and cleaning and keeping the house a certain way. You have to live in a certain status of a house, of course. And your kids have to be in all kinds of sports, or you're not doing enough. And they need to be either like in a private school or homeschooled, or they need to, I don't know. Everything is always like, you're not doing enough for the woman. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know how we got to this point in society. It's crumbling though, if you haven't noticed. Everybody's fucking tired. Nobody wants this shit anymore, but I can guarantee you 1920s to 1950s life is not the thing that you're coveting after. It's most likely the life that is like way before that. Way before that. At least for me. But then again, a lot of society is too weak to live that way, because it takes a certain level of strength to live outside of industrialism. Like, we've been in this for so many generations now. Like, look at how weak our society is. Well, I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine, and because I don't know a ton about testosterone levels and stuff, but I don't need to know. But he was telling me how testosterone increases in a male's body when they're like doing things that are active. When they're hunting, when they're like moving things that are heavy, when they're building. So like, the way the men today have really low testosterone levels, like it's measurably lower. Like, I think I was actually reading a study that the average 20-year-old has the same testosterone levels as a 60-year-old did 20 years ago. That's pretty fucking bad. But because what are men doing today? They don't like go hunting. They go sit in front of a computer all day. They don't build shelter. They fucking play video games. There's nothing that they're actually doing. Like, masculine energy, men need to be constantly doing. They need to be physically doing something that, like, providing fits in that, but not providing of the way today's society is. It's like going out to provide protein for the family involves hunting. It involves long journey by foot. It involves carrying dead things out of the woods. It involves building structures. This is what builds testosterone levels, and it's probably why, ladies, why you're more you're more likely to be attracted to the construction worker with the rough hands. Their testosterone levels are naturally going to be higher, you know, if they're not fucking polluting themselves with drugs and alcohol and vapes. So it's why there's that whole like construction worker vibe going on, but their T levels are going to be higher because they're actually doing physical labor more so than like the finance guy who's sitting behind a desk all day. So anyway, am I off topic again? It's just, I don't know. I think the Brady Bunch came out and people are trying to like recreate that, but look, even she had it made, right? Alice really ran that house. So I don't know. I don't think we're ever gonna go back. I mean, maybe in the next 20 years, as the government tries to take over more and more and people start rebelling against that, we will break off and have our own like communes or communities again. But it's gonna be hard because people are gonna have to learn how to interact with people again. And right now, like the dark side of social media is that you just cultivate your social media to be exactly what you agree with. So it's making people more dumb because nobody can have a conversation anymore. Like, I love conversation. I love listening to other people's beliefs and like where their point of views and stuff. It doesn't mean I'm gonna adapt it in as my own, you know. But I want to fucking listen. Like, I don't know. We can all learn from each other. I think one of the important things that we have to remember about community is that we don't all have to agree on the same thing to be considered a community. It's actually really unhealthy to be that way. And when we can actually come together in community and actually respect different opinions, different ways of living, that's how we become more well-rounded as a society. I just find it like it's this my way or the highway attitude, or like this black and white way of living where it's either this way or that way. It's just impregnated into our system to cause a complete separation and split of the people, because if we're divided, we can't stand together, right? So you have Republicans and Democrats and like all of these different things put in our society. And currently there's a huge divide between men and women, right? And while yes, like my podcast is for women because we need a voice somewhere, in this rise up of women finally finding their voice and finding their place in society, it doesn't mean that we have to hate men along the way. It doesn't mean that we have to, you know, put down men in order for us to rise up, because then that would be the same thing that happened to us. We were silenced and shut up and put down in order for the patriarchy to rise up. But matriarchy is like a win-win situation, because truly what most women want is just to be able to come together in unison and take care of our families. And it's not about this cutthroat bullshit that is put into our collective that keeps us all hating each other. It's just very tiring, and this whole system needs to collapse at some point. And I do believe that it currently is, and that things are finally getting pulled down and things are getting reformulated, recalibrated, but it is going to be a painful process along the way. And I think that it's really important for women to keep discovering themselves. And even if, you know, you're doing certain things now and certain ways of living that you're thinking are right, in a couple months from now, you realize that that was wrong and you want to change, you know it, that's okay. And the only reason that, and the only way change happens is actually to be open, to listening to other people's opinions, other women. There's women much older than you that have been through a lot that have wise words to give you. It's maiden, mother, and crone. And there's this dynamic in that we can all learn from each other and take it into consideration. Does it mean that everybody who's older than you is right? No, but it does mean that they have more life experience, and there's a lot of women that have been through what you've been through and can offer some advice. Does it mean you have to take it? No, but at least for a minute, put on a different lens and see it through their eyes. It may help you just get out of the box you've trapped yourself in, so that you can actually, you know, view the situation and with a fresh perspective, and then find your own way out. I just think that the majority of the struggle that is currently in the collective of the female has mostly to do with the fact that we have no village and we have no help, and there's this huge divide and separation. I mean, there's even this bullshit division going on between the, I'm not even going to call it trad wife anymore, wife anymore, because it's not. We've already established that this is like 1950s, like 1920s and 1950s style living. And, you know, we don't need to be pinned up against each other of which way is right. If you want to, you know, not have kids and have a career, that's amazing. If you want to just dedicate your whole life to just doing that and taking care of your children, that's fine too. But I'm going to tell you that either way, in too far in each direction, is burnout. And the way that we stay in the middle is through having the village, because again, we all can learn from each other and care for each other in different ways. And I just think that the brunt of everything being on the woman's back right now is killing us. And we are tired and we're drained and we can't keep doing this alone. And every year it gets harder and harder. And you can see even just in the rise of single motherhood over the past few years, you know, especially right now for my astrology people with a nodal switch in Aries and Libra, it's like this, all relationships are being come into question, and people that don't have equal partnership are opting out because women are sick of being married and single. We can't just sit here anymore and also take care of the men. We didn't sign up for multiple toddlers, just the ones that we actually birthed. And I think that there's like a huge letdown in women right now because they're realizing like, oh, married life isn't what I was told in fairy tales. It's actually awful. And I'm not saying that all marriages are awful. It's just that the majority of men have been taught to be in a position that the wife is the servant. If you describe, especially these like red pill idiots, what they think a good wife is, they're describing a slave. And that's how most women feel. And if they're not slaving at home, they're slaving at a corporate job, working 9 to 5, punching in and out, and they're a slave there. So what is the answer to freedom? Men want to be free too. They're in a weird role right now because provision's turned into also being a slave. So the answer is the village. It comes down to the answer is always going to be the village, because if we live in community and learn how to fucking do this again and set aside our egos and learn how to communicate and how to care for one another, we're not going to have these problems. This is eventually going to happen. It's going to be a very long, drawn-out process, though. And yes, I already said it. It will be painful. But it's something that has to happen. And the system today is bullshit, and it is meant to burn you out. It is meant to completely suck you dry and to put money in the pockets of few. We are run by corporations. They do not care about you. You are a number. You are literally a social security number. You're slave number 100-789-2257. Like, that's what you are. And they make money off you by paying taxes and you clocking in at that 9 to 5 and giving your money to the IRS and sucking your time away from you. You are literally trading in your soul for a dollar bill. And they have convinced you that this is the way to go. That if you trade in your hours, we'll give you money and then you can buy things that you don't fucking need. You're not here on this planet to to just buy shit. Get the big house and get the cool car so that you have some kind of status and get a bunch of money in your bank account. Do you think that's why you're here? You're not. That doesn't karmically elevate your soul in any type of way. You're here to do the work. You're here to elevate internally, spiritually. You're here to elevate your soul. You're here to experience Earth. And I'm not saying that any of those things are bad. If that's what you want, cool, but that's not your purpose. Your purpose isn't just to work for money, but that's what they have us convinced. And that's why we are all in isolation right now, because there's this weird storyline narrative of hyper independence and for us to just do it all on ourselves, buy all the cars, buy all the whatever, and it's just to keep money filtering into the pockets of the already wealthy. When you live in village life, that doesn't exist. Right now, the way our society is going and the way it's set up, the most wicked thing you could do is come together and fight for the wholeness of one. Want to be part of an online community filled with other badass women supporting each other on their wicked journey? Check out my online community, the Wise Woman Network. We have classes, courses, online community meetings, and more. Activate that sleeping goddess within and unleash your divine power. Join me today on a free trial to all my listeners. Link is in the show notes. I'll see you there.